House of Representatives rejects Samoa agreement, urges federal government to suspend implementation as Kano state government cracks down on same-sex marriage promoters. SANU-NASU members stake nationwide protests over withheld salaries. Armed bandits attack Kasina community, kill 1, injure 3, abduct dozens. Away from Nigeria, casualties in Israeli strikes on Nuseirat market area in Gaza. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. And now the news in detail. The House of Representatives has asked the federal government to suspend the Samoa agreement amid controversy over alleged LGBT provisions. The decision follows the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by the Minority Whip Sani Madaki and 87 other lawmakers. The report.
The Daily Trust newspaper, one of the publications from the stables of Media Trust Group, has been in the eye of the storm over a publication which kick-started the Samoa deal controversy. The report, which had revealed that Nigeria may be compelled into recognizing and supporting LGBT agitations, received widespread condemnation and rejection from the generality of Nigerians. While the federal government had made several efforts to provide clarifications, including threatening legal actions against the Daily Trust, lawmakers in the Green Chamber at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday have insisted on the suspension of the agreement. During the motion's presentation, the Minority Whip Sani Madaki argued that the agreement violates the nation's laws regarding LGBTQ and same-sex relationships.
Further worried that the signing of such an agreement with the aforementioned clauses, if true, violate our sovereignty and is a clear contravention of Section 12(1) of 99 Constitution as amended.
Other lawmakers who supported the motion urged the House to reject the Samoa agreement in its entirety and called for the suspension of the implementation of the agreement signed by the federal government on June 28th.
The first amendment, Mr. Speaker, is the need for Nigerian government to unsign and withdraw from the unpopular Samoa agreement, and the need for the government to refrain from engaging in any such treaties that contravene the people's culture, religion, and unethical morals.
Where the federal government is going into an agreement, by the provisions of Section 12 of the Constitution, the Parliament ought to be carried along. And if the Parliament had been carried along, these arguments, even from our people that we speak for, would not have been there, because Nigerians would have been better informed.
The Samoa Agreement serves as a vital legal framework for cooperation between the OACPs and the European Union, with the aim of promoting sustainable development, fighting climate change and its effects, generating investment opportunities, and fostering increased collaboration among OACP's member states at the international stage.
Meanwhile, the Kano state government has ordered a clampdown on any organization promoting LGBTQ rights as they violate the provision of Sharia as well as the culture and tradition of the people of Kano state. The Commander General of the State Hizbah Board, Aminu Daurawa, who addressed a press conference in Kano, said one of the Hizbah Board staff members seen in a viral video making comments about LGBTQ was not representing the board and as such would be made to face disciplinary action. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
According to Sheikh Daurawa, Kano state government will not be part of any agreement recognizing same-sex marriage or relationship of whatever kind that seems to violate the religion of Islam. He said the state government and by extension the people of Kano state will continue to respect the same-sex marriage prohibition law passed in 2014 during former President Goodluck Jonathan administration, which banned same-sex marriage in Nigeria.
Gwamnatin jihar Kano bata gamsu ba ko bata amince ba ko bata yadda ba da duk wani
Kano state government is not satisfied and will never be satisfied and will never agree with any agreement violating the religion of Islam or the Islamic Sharia that was launched by the state government. And Kano state government will not respect any law contrary to the law signed during the administration of Goodluck Jonathan in 2013. We will not recognize that, and we will continue to respect the laws of the land that does not contradict the religion of Islam or Islamic Sharia.
2013 wacce Jonathan ya sa mata hannu.
Confirming the commitment of Hizbah in fighting LGBTQ community across the state, Daurawa says they have already identified some non-governmental organizations working to promote LGBTQ in Kano, many of whom have since been shut down.
Shekara da shekaru ana ta yaki da wannan abu a jihar Kano, hukumar Hizbah tana.
For many years, Kano State government through the Hizbah Commission has been fighting the LGBTQ community. We have been entering all nooks and crannies of Kano State to identify those non-governmental organizations that are working in Kano to promote same-sex marriage. And we will never stop. We will continue to do this because it is what Allah says we should do. Idris Gama is the Hizbah officer who was recently seen in a viral video commenting on the activities of the LGBTQ. He says he has never been part of their activities, and in fact, he acted out of ignorance of the real meaning of LGBTQ, and that he is apologizing to the Hizbah and the entire people of Kano State for any inconveniences his action might have caused them.
In
the first place, I am not among them. I am not a part of them, and I will never be part of them. As I told you, I was invited as Idris Gama, not as Hizbah officer, and I have nothing to do with LGBTQ. And at the time I was asked that question, honestly, to be sincere to you and to be sincere to the people of Kano State, I don't know the meaning of LGBTQ. Meanwhile, Sheikh Daurawa is calling on all people in the state to continue to remain vigilant and report any suspicious group working to promote same-sex marriage to the board for appropriate action. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities on Tuesday staged a one-day protest over their withheld 4-month salaries. The committee has also vowed to shut down public universities later this month if their withheld salaries and other issues are not addressed. Habibat Ajayi has more.
We're currently at the main campus, University of Abuja. The NASU and SANU are actually staging a protest at the front of the entrance.
Follows several attempts to draw government's attention to unresolved issues. The two unions, under the aegis of the Joint Action Committee, JAC, embark on the strike due to the government's alleged repeated failure to implement many agreements.
Under the aegis of JAC, in March 2022, embark on a strike as a result of government's repeated failure to abide and implement the many agreements in which it freely entered with the unions. As of the last count, we've had 7 different agreements with government, and repeatedly government have failed to implement their part of the agreements. This repeated reneging on agreement is eroding the trust of our members in government and its officials. And one wonders if they are truly committed to a qualitative education for the children of the masses.
The JAC national president explained that several meetings with government officials to address their needs have so far yielded no results.
You remember very well that the House Committee on Education equally invited us on this matter, and they passed a resolution. They told us the matter had been transmitted to the presidency. The Minister of Labour invited us about 2 months ago. We went there, but we were told that she has gone to the presidency for another meeting. Last week, Thursday, she invited us. We went there. We were told she has gone to the presidency for another meeting. And this is a minister that's supposed to take absolute charge and control of this matter. So I wonder what she's going to presidency to report when there is problem in her own house.
Academic activities have been partially affected as the protest continues.
I'm here now and my office is empty, so it's disrupting the activities partially. But when these grievances are not curtailed with emergency, as we call on the necessary government organs to do, then we cannot guarantee full activities in the few days to come in our campuses, across the campuses.
The unions insisted that unless their demands are met, a total shutdown of university activities may be imminent. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Similarly, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities have held a protest at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, over their 4-month withheld salaries. Members of the union, in their numbers, marched around the campus. The report.
These are members of the Senior Staff Association of Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities protesting the non-payment of their 4 months withheld salaries. The protesters, frustration written on their faces, chanted solidarity songs with placards displaying their demands for justice. Shuaib Muhammad, the chairman of the Sassanu Ahmadu Bello University chapter, addressed the gathering. His voice echoed through the campus as he decried the federal government's action.
The payment of 4 months' salaries to our colleagues in university and then leaving the non-teaching staff out is a segregation. Yes. It is in style showing that we, the non-teaching staff, we are not relevant to the system. As we have always reiterated, the non-teaching staff are the most important segment of the university system because we feature in all units of the university. Our services are more essential than any other service in the university. Yes. Therefore, for the federal government to pay our colleagues their own 4 months and then leave us out is an injustice. Yes.
The unions announced plans for a mega rally in Abuja on the 18th and warned that if their demands are not met by then, they will escalate their protest into a full-scale strike.
That if at the end of the grand protest on 18th next week, we are forced to go on an indefinite strike, we want you all to come out and participate in the strike. Yes. Remember, I have said it. Nobody is going to fight our war for us, but we'll fight it ourselves. Yes. We are going to fight it to get victory. Yes. And then, inshallah, victory shall be ours. Yes. Apart from the 4 months, we have salaries, we have other demands also.
It seems that the government seems to forget that when we negotiated and had an understanding, we signed a memorandum of understanding that says nobody will be victimized. So part of the victimization that we are seeing today is the withheld 4 months salary. We are not beggars in the system. For God's sake, we have cried aloud, we have made several appeals. We try to see that we use diplomacy in resolving this issue, but we do not know who our enemies are.
The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, also affirmed their solidarity with SANU and NASU.
We are going to solidly stand and call over the 50 million Nigerian students we have on the street of Abuja to shut down virtually all organizations. As far as this strike is not going to be addressed properly, as far as the interests of SANU and NASU members are not going to be addressed, we are not going to take it lightly with any government official. So this is our resolution and this is our stand. We are here in Ahmadu Bello University Zaria today to stand firmly with the members. They are our parents and we want them to also be able to pay their house rents. We want them to be able to pay the school fees of their children. We want them to be able to put this 3 square meal on their tables.
The potential strike threatens to disrupt academic activities, leaving students in a state of uncertainty and anxiety. From Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
Also, members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions on Tuesday organized a protest across public university campuses in the country. The protest, according to the unions, is part of efforts to get their delayed salaries released.
During the protest, the non-academic staff carried placards with multiple inscriptions, demanding that the federal government immediately effect the payment of the 4-month withheld salaries of their members, non-discrimination between academic and non-teaching staff of universities, among others, as they marched from the Senate building to the university's entrance gate. The protest on Tuesday came after the federal government was given a 2-week ultimatum in June by SANU and NASU. While addressing the press, the acting chairman SANU Unilag chapter Benga Adenoyo recalled that the union had earlier observed a 7-day warning strike because of the non-payment of the withheld salaries.
In 2023, in the budget, there was a 50 billion naira that was supposed to be released to universities. It has not been released. Likewise, the issue of areas of increase in salaries is already in the budget of 2023, but till now, those money has not been released to universities. So we are appealing to the government that they should come to our aid. We are workers and we are working very well diligently on daily basis for our daily bread, but they are denying us of our daily bread. Our prayer is that they should listen to us and they should do the needful at the right time.
To the president, we want our withheld salary and it must be paid without any further delay. Yes. That is our demand. That is our demand. Yes. You can imagine, 2009 agreement is still there. The agreement is already due for the negotiation, and nothing has been done. Nothing has been done to date. We say no to divide and rule again.
Meanwhile, the National Vice President SANU, Salam Abdul Suba, who had just returned from the National Industrial Court to join the protest, said the court verdict was in favor of the union and called on members to join the national protest slated for next week.
We shall all converge at Abuja and we shall undertake a massive protest rally. After that rally, if our issues have not been addressed, we shall embark on a strike. That strike shall demand your courage because they will test you. They will intimidate you. They may deny you your salaries again. But when reality is that we are not less Nigerians than those people in the National Assembly. We are not less Nigerian than those people in the Senate. We are not less Nigerian than those people who hold political appointments. We should not be denied of our rights. We are citizens of Nigeria. And as far as we are concerned, we have not jabbed. We remain in this country, and as our youth say, we die here.
The union expressed hope that the federal government would listen to their plea and do the needful at the right time to avoid a full-scale strike.
And on to security matters, armed bandits riding on motorcycles on Monday attacked Ruwangodia and Kwakware Sheme communities in Faskari local government area of Katsina State, killing one person and abducting several others. 3 persons also sustained gunshot wounds in the process. The bandits, who attacked Ruwangodia village while residents were performing Isha prayer, ransacked shops, residential houses and carted away monies, food items and other valuables, while at Kwakware Sheme, which is just 4 kilometers from Ruwangodia village and only 3 kilometers to Sheme town, the bandits abducted 10 people, looted shops and rustled an unspecified number of animals. The State Police Command is yet to issue a statement on the attack. And now joining us via phone is Trustee Abdullahi Yamadi to give us an update on this matter. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour, Abdullahi Yamadi.
Thank you very much, sincerely.
I'd like to hear from you. What more have we learned about this particular development?
Well, seriously, some people called Trust TV here in Katsina some minutes ago, expressing very concern about the frequency of these attacks.
Right.
And of course, the manner in which the attacks are taking place. For instance, they are saying There is a military base in Ruangodia, which is only less than 500 meters away from the town.
Okay.
But yet, these armed bandits have the audacity to attack, harass, intimidate, loot shops, and of course, abduct people and rescue animals without intervention from any security organization or security agency. So this is a serious concern to residents of both Ruangodia and, of course, Paparisheni. And then they said this evening the abductors have called, telling the residents that their abductees are very much sick. As such, they should prepare to mobilize money in the event of payment of ransom, which they will demand any moment from now. And the third one is the issue of how residents of these two communities are leaving their houses since 4 p.m. this evening to nearby bushes where they will pass the night. And you know, it is rainy season everywhere in Nigeria today. And of course, the question they are asking is, what will happen to these people who are mostly women and children in the event of rainfall? So these are the three key issues on the lips of most of the residents of these two communities at the moment.
Clearly, Abdullahi Yamadi, you have stated that there is fear and apprehension amongst the residents of these communities. I'd like to hear from you. Has there been any statement from the police? What's the security authorities saying regarding this?
Well, at the moment, neither the security agencies nor the state government has issued any statement regarding these two separate attacks. And what they are saying is, if this current trend or current strategy being used by the government in the fight against banditry in this part of the country is not producing, or rather is not impacting, I think they think there is need for the government to review strategy and then maybe adopt local strategies by using community leaders, religious leaders, and of course traditional leaders or traditional institutions in the fight against this banditry. Because over the last 10 years, the same strategy is being used, and it has not yielded much result as expected.
Okay, thank you so much. Indeed, I can't help but agree with you that there is need for government to put out strategies just so we can curb these incessant attacks by bandits. Thank you so much for joining us on the news hour, Abdullahi Yamadi from Katsina.
Okay, thank you most sincerely.
Still on security matters, 69 Boko Haram terrorists and their families have been handed over to troops of the multinational Joint Task Force in N'Djamena, Republic of Chad. A statement by the chief spokesperson of the MNJT, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi, on Tuesday said the terrorists were handed over by the maritime troops of the Cameroon and Niger forces after a successful operation along Lake Chad. Among the surrendered terrorists were 14 fighters and 55 women and children. One of the fighters surrendered with an AK-45 rifle and live ammunition. The statement said the latest surrender happened between July 1 and 6 in the ongoing Operation Lake Sanity 2. The Plateau State Police Command says it has recovered 3 million naira from 3 suspected kidnappers arrested in the state. The Commissioner of Police, Olubenga Emmanuel Adeshina, disclosed this on Monday while parading the suspects at the command's headquarters. Adeshina stated that the culprits were arrested between Koka village in Shendam local government area and Sarkin Kudu village in Taraba State. Adomusa completes the report.
The arrested kidnappers are among the over 100 criminals paraded by the command on Monday. According to the State Police Commissioner, the command has recently been battling numerous criminal elements who are bent of causing havoc to law-abiding citizens in the state, adding that The command has employed every lawful means to tackle the menace.
We are proactive with other security agencies. The whole command was overwhelmed with security presence, raiding of their hideouts and black spots. And based on the information given to the command by good people of the state, yesterday alone, a total number of 118 suspects were apprehended. And this paid off because from that yesterday to today, the command did not allow them to operate anywhere. And that is
one of the arrested kidnapped suspects, who was paraded by the command, Abdullahi Adamu, confessed to the crime. 3 of us kidnapped the victim. We were paid 9 million naira, which we shared 3 million naira each. 2 of us were arrested while the other one is still at large. I have not been involved in kidnapping for long. It is the devil's work. The leader of the group has fled. The police commissioner further called residents of the state to alert the police of any suspicious movement around their neighbors to enable the police tackle security challenges in the state. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Meanwhile, the Plateau State Police Command on Tuesday morning arrested a suspected car thief, Audu Yusuf, in Bokur town of Jos South local government area of the state. The suspect was arrested alongside a painter, Ismail Al-Hassan, allegedly conspiring with the car thief to change the color of the stolen vehicle. The prime suspect, who claimed to be from Nasarawa State, said he was given the vehicle by a friend at about 1:30 a.m. on Tuesday to deliver to a client and get paid for his driving services, not knowing that the vehicle was stolen. Parading the suspect at the Bukur Divisional Police Headquarters, the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, narrated how the suspects, who later claimed innocence, were arrested.
After receiving a phone call from our colleagues from Abuja about a young man that was robbed in FCT Abuja, and that the car has been stolen and they are rotating to our end, that is coming to Plateau State with this vehicle. The Commissioner of Police, being a very proactive police boss, directed the DPOB Division, SP Gufu Banmun, to immediately swing into action and ensure that the vehicle is recovered and also the suspects are arrested.
He is a very good friend of mine. I know him for years. He came to my place in the yesterday night. He told me that please I should help him and drive this motor to Jos. Now I said okay. He said that he's going to find me something. Then he gave me 3,500 that I should hold it first. I said, let me get something so that in case of inquisitive. Not knowing that the car is a stolen car. This morning I came to Jos. The motor went off. So in the process of trying to on the car, I see the car, it's like it's being hacked. Then I told him that, I called him on phone, I told him what happened, and this motor is not starting. And the ignition is not even showing any light from the dashboard. He said that I should remove the battery head, which I did. He said I should still put it back. I did. The motor did not start. So he now said he's going to send somebody's number that will give him the car.
I don't know much about the owner of the car. All I know is that there was a time he sent a car to me to paint. This is the second time he is sending the car to me to paint. He called me this morning to say that someone is bringing this car. This is what I know.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has sent Shuaibu Alhaji Yushau to the Social Development Secretariat for mental assessment and evaluation following his rather troubling action which caused apprehension in the nation's capital on Monday when he climbed a high broadband mast at Aso Radio in Katampe, Abuja, and attempting to take his own life. Police said the suspect, if found to be mentally stable after the test, will be charged in court for attempted suicide, disturbance of public peace, and incitement contrary to sections 231, 111, and 114 of the Penal Code Act. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, Benneth Igwe, urges residents to be law-abiding while pushing for their voices to be heard, as the police will not be stampeded into allowing the breakdown of law and order. This is the News Hour, coming to you live on Trust Television studios in Abuja. Still to come. Low patronage hits hospitality industry as economic downturn persists. More news on return. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Let's have another look at some of our top stories. House of Representatives rejects Samoa agreement, urges federal government to suspend implementation as Kano state government cracks down on same-sex marriage promoters. Plus, SANU NASU members stage nationwide protests over withheld salaries. Moving on to more stories. President Bola Tinubu has announced the creation of a new ministry, the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. The president made the announcement on Tuesday at the State House, Abuja, while inaugurating the renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee to address farmers' herders' issues. The president also announced the change in leadership of the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reform, previously held by Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje. Kaide Amodu has details of the story.
The conflict in the livestock sector has stared the country in the face over the years, assuming deadly dimensions that have spread across the country. Previous attempts to solve the problem have defied solution, and this committee is the latest attempt. Previous chairman of the Livestock Reform Committee, APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, outlined the plans of the committee to successfully deliver on this mandate.
Mr. President, we are going to work assiduously and do everything humanly possible to bring out all the issues and fast-track the implementation process and make it one of the distinctive success stories of your administration.
But the president has other ideas, starting with the composition of the leadership of the committee in a bid to distance it completely from political machinations.
I assume the chairmanship of the committee as the president and appoint Professor Tairu Jaga as my deputy or co-chair, and as Dr. Ganduje, we say thank you, just remove yourself, so that any taint of politics in this environment will be erased completely. This is not about politics. This is about opportunity. This is about our nation.
The president is also creating a separate Ministry of Livestock Development.
When you have great opportunity as this, why should Nigeria continue conflict of the caliber of people that is here? This presents a unique opportunity also to delineate and establish a separate ministry called the Ministry of Livestock Development.
These developments are expected to solve the problems of herder-farmer conflicts, storage, transportation of products, and maintenance of quality standards, all of which have plagued the sector. It remains to be seen how much impact these changes will make. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Despite numerous efforts to resolve the crisis rocking the main opposition People's Democratic Party in Katsina State, the situation remains unresolved. The crisis has been exacerbated by allegations that the caretaker committee members of the PDP hijacked the nomination forms forward local government and state congresses. Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
This is the first time major stakeholders from the main opposition People's Democratic Party PDP in Katsina are meeting to brainstorm on the lingering crisis arising from the hijacking of the party's nomination forms meant for the upcoming congresses in the state. The stakeholders are accusing the party's state caretaker committee members who are allegedly loyal to the 2023 governorship candidate Yakubu Lado Damarki of masterminding the crisis and hijacking the Congress's nomination forms meant for Katsina State.
We're going to surmount it, whatever be the case. Our focus is not even the party congresses. Our focus is to take over the reins of power in Katsina State particularly and Nigeria in general. So you know we cannot just be shortchanged. This group is not a small group that you can play with.
The stakeholders urged the National Working Committee of the PDP to, in the best interest of the party, instruct the State Caretaker Committee to release the forms to organize seamless congresses in the state.
On the 24th of June, we were at the national headquarters of the party. 25th, we were there. And even on the 26th, we were there. We have consulted them. We have taken in our letters to them. We have held a press conference in Abuja regarding the purchase of funds. They said we should come back to Katsina. You know, they called the chairman caretaker committee. They asked him to come to Katsina and sell the funds to us. And we came back to Katsina. We went back to him. The chairman caretaker committee, one Musa A. Karim. Yes, but despite that, up to now, nothing has happened. But we'll continue to push.
Speakers at the meeting alleged conspiracy and sabotage from some members of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and the PDP national body, accusing them of working towards destroying the party at all levels before 2027. They, however, vowed to restore peace in the party to rescue the state and the country from what they described as enemies of democracy.
They want to make sure they tarnish the image of PDP. They want to make sure there's no PDP on ground in all the states I made mention. You understand? So this is the only way. If they did not cripple PDP, they will not win the election. When PDP is still on board, they will not win the election. But when there is no PDP, they can do anything, they can do anything. That's the only way they can get the mandate.
Political observers described the lack of formidable opposition that could ensure checks and balances in the ruling parties as one of the major impediments to Nigeria's democracy. They urged the PDP leadership at all levels to mend fences and give peace a chance. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Leisure places in Nigeria, such as restaurants, hotels, sports, event centers, and cinemas, are facing difficulties in attracting customers as soaring food prices continue to drain consumers' pockets, leaving little room for discretionary spending on entertainment and recreation. Trust TV spoke with sports coaches and restaurant owners in the Agege area of Lagos State. This report is presented from our studio.
Leisure places such as restaurants, hotels, sports event centers, and cinemas in Agege area of Lagos State are experiencing low patronage. The economic hardship has caused many Nigerians to patronize food items over leisure activities. Restaurant owners lament the low patronage of customers as the continuous rise in food prices affects their business operations.
All everything now is so much cost because some people now they know fit to come and eat in my
restaurants now, because every I went to the market now to go and buy some things now, I didn't make it. Now, since morning I've just cooked the food. I didn't sell like before.
The effect of economic hardship is really affecting every aspect of life, both foodstuff, even in the realization central. Maybe if you are somebody that take maybe 2 bottles before, you reduce it to maybe 1 bottle. And with that 1 bottle, you can spend 3 hours because you don't have any other means.
My customers are not more common because the food, even the food we cook, we go to markets, we buy things to cook. Everything has increased. They cannot be able to be eating as before. You only see people coming to eat.
I don't know what to say. The people are not patronizing me as before again, and not only here, because the price of food is too expensive. People now come, people that used to eat 3 times a day, they manage to come once. If you can see inside my shop, no customer. We have been here since morning. I didn't mean it before, by now the first set of foods that finished, we put the second one, we keep on cooking. But now it's not like that.
Other leisure places such as Agege Stadium were deserted with very few persons engaged in playing table tennis and basketball.
If you are not well feeded, you can't play table tennis. That's number one. I know that, and a lot of people are running away. This little racket I'm rolling, and you are seeing with me now, costs a lot. A few people can afford it.
The effect make the hunger make them like, oh, these things are very expensive. I can only have this for now. Let me push more. The bad effect of it is that after the trade, what will they eat? They will only take small portion of food with their big money, and they'll get at the end of the day.
So a lot of kids are really complaining that they are not really feeding well, you know. So we are begging government to look after the food and see how they can reduce both transportation and food in the country, so we can have more kids that comes out for doing sports in this area.
The daily increase in food prices is a significant concern as Nigerians struggle to make ends meet, leaving little disposable income for non-essential items such as entertainment.
At the resumption of plenary on Tuesday, the Senate engaged in a prolonged conversation lamenting the attendant effects of the food crisis currently being experienced by their constituents. It was during this debate that it was revealed that the federal government has begun distributing 60 trucks of fertilizers to state governors, 2 trucks to each senators, and 1 truck to House of Representatives members for distribution to their constituents. Trust TV's Senate correspondent, Sagir Ibrahim, brings details from Tuesday's plenary.
The debate started when a motion on the urgent need to address food insecurity and market exploitation of consumables in Nigeria was moved by Senator Karimi Steve Kogi West on the hunger that Nigerians continue to bear due to the exorbitant cost of food commodities occasioned by skyrocketing food inflation in Nigeria. Senator Karimi also revealed how the activities of unscrupulous food merchants further worsened the food crisis.
Concerned that the greater percentage of the increase in price of food items and consumables in the country is not only due to these factors, but to the sales of merchant traders and retailers to make supernormal profit, while they excuse the hike in prices on these factors, that is depreciation of naira, increase in prices of petroleum products, and insecurity in farming regions, thereby heaping the blame on the federal government.
Other contributors called for urgent measures to ease the hardship on their constituents.
As it is now, a bag of rice is selling at about 100,000. A bag of maize, the same thing. Even prices of tomatoes, onions, and other basic food is high. Distinguished colleagues, as representatives of the people, we need to do something.
The executive arm of government is saying is considering reducing or removing taxes on imported foodstuff. Mr. President, here's the catch. This Senate must engage the executive immediately. What are the issues? Which taxes are they talking about? We have really little or nothing in our food reserve across the country. And nobody should come and tell us they will distribute foodstuff from our silos. The silos are empty.
Nigerians cannot suffer from hunger while the government has the capacity to ameliorate the situation. By removing import duties on all the food items, it's a way to flood the market and flood the country with food, with cheap and affordable food.
Meanwhile, the plenary went into another round of arguments when Senator Adamu Alero of Kebbi Central called for the intervention of the Senate President regarding the distribution of 2 trucks of fertilizers allocated to them by the federal government for this year's planting season.
What is happening is that only governors are given the fertilizer. Senators are yet to get a single bag of fertilizer. And there is need.
It is going to the governor.
Mr. President, there is need for you to intervene, to call the Minister of Agriculture and tell him to immediately authorize the distribution of fertilizer to all the senatorial districts. This is the season we need the fertilizer. If it doesn't come now, it's as good as not having it at all.
The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, called the attention of the Chairman, Committee on Agriculture, to provide clarification.
We had hitches from the NSA's office. They stopped every truck of fertilizer from moving out because of the security implication. They had to certify clear before they will allow the trucks to move out. So, sir, I want us to exercise patience. By weekend, I'm sure everybody or most people will have received their supplies. Please.
You know, they like me, quoting me. They will say Akpabio again. This is from the Senate Committee Chairman on Agriculture. Not from Senator Akpabio. That irrespective of political party, each state governor is going to get at least 60 trucks immediately. And the reason why they are giving to senators 2 trucks is because some of the state governors and House of Rep members, 1 truck for your constituents, is because some of the state governors are not in the same party with you. So they may get and they may not really look at your constituents.
Upon conclusion of the debate, the Senate consolidated all the prayers from Senator Karimi's motion and appealed to the government to, as a matter of urgency, ease the plight of Nigerians. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In business, banks' borrowings from the Central Bank of Nigeria standing lending facility increased year-on-year by 458.2% to 57.5 trillion naira in the first half of this year, from 10.25 trillion naira in the corresponding period of 2023. Data from the CBN also showed that banks' deposits in the Apex Bank Standing Deposit Facility grew by 62% to 7.94 trillion naira during the same period from 2.99 trillion naira in half-year 2023. Banks make use of the SLF window to access liquidity to run their operations, while the Standing Deposit Facility window, on the other hand, is an overnight deposit facility that allows banks to lodge excess liquidity with the CBN and earn interest. The CBN data showed that banks and discount houses' opening balance as at June 28, 2024 stood at 309.97 billion naira. This represents a 73.3% decline when compared with 1.16 trillion naira as at June 30, 2023. Away from Nigeria, 4 civilians were killed and others were injured on Tuesday in an Israeli air raid on the Nuseirat market area in the center of the Gaza Strip. The occupation artillery also targeted with several missiles the Shabura camp in the center of Rafah in the southern strip. Earlier, 9 civilians, mostly children, were killed and others were injured in the Israeli drone shelling of a gathering of civilians near the Abu Rasas roundabout in the Burej refugee camp in the middle of Gaza. A citizen was also killed and others wounded in an artillery bombardment of a site in the Sabra neighborhood south of Gaza City. 3 more civilians were killed and others were injured in an Israeli targeting of a group of civilians in the Tel Sultan neighborhood west of the city of Rafah. The number of civilians killed in Gaza since Tuesday morning has so far reached 33, with dozens of others also wounded. It's time now to join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest in sports.
All is now set for Edo State to host the 2024 National Division 1 Handball League from 14 to 28 July 2024. Secretary General of Handball Federation of Nigeria, Umar Lambu, said teams are expected to arrive Benin City on the 14th of July to engage in the draw for the league. Lambu thanked Edo State government for partnering with HFN in hosting and sponsoring the National Division 1 League. The National Division 1 League is the second-tier league where the champions and runners-up in the male and female categories gain promotion to play in the top-tier Adoba Handball Premier League. And in combat sport, arrangements have been concluded for Nigeria to stage its first combat sport competition. The events aim to bring different combat sports such as boxing, wrestling, taekwondo, etc. under one umbrella to enhance the visibility and competitiveness of Nigerian athletes worldwide. Vice Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Musa Oshodi, said the combat sport event will hold from the 25th of November to December 1st, 2024, adding that it is inspired by the World Combat Games held in Saudi Arabia in 2023. And in wrestling, the Nigerian wrestling contingent has led Madrid, Spain for Germany ahead of their last campaign before the Olympic Games in Paris, France. The wrestlers participated in the Spanish Grand Prix, a pre-Olympic wrestling tournament in Madrid where Esther Kolawole 62kg category and Ogusaya Christina 53kg category recorded bronze for Team Nigeria respectively. Ogusaya defeated her USA counterpart Brian Gonzalez 10-0 to win bronze medal, while Kolawole won over Swedish Joanna Lindborg by 8-0 for the bronze medal. World silver medalist Odara Dekure lost 4 on technical grounds to Norwegian Otil Hole in the quarterfinal. Similarly, African champion Hannah Robben lost the first bout 3-0 to her Colombian opponent Tatiana. Head coach Ako Purity said it was an opportunity for the wrestlers to warm up ahead of the Paris Games. Nigerian Wrestling Federation President Daniel Igali charged the contingent led by the Secretary General Mohammed Migdad Sama to learn from all that transpired in Madrid for their technical advantage. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
You have it. That's about the size of the package we have for you tonight on News Hour. Do not forget to follow all our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.